gentlemen, do you need me to use the microphone?
No.
I'll be fine. Our presenters will use theirs. So let's get me out of that space into here. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all for coming down today. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that we're on Larrakia land, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and extend those respects to any Larrakia present today. As many of you are the same as me and call Darwin home now, I'm sure you'll all agree the saltwater people have done a beautiful job of making Darwin a lovely place to live. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you everybody. Lunchtime, this is going to be great. This is a beautiful space to do something quite intimate and challenging, condensing someone's life work into 3 minutes. That was a nervous laugh. That was a nervous laugh. My name's Amy Hetherington. I'm going to be your MC today. I'm thrilled to be here. I got to be here last year to see the presentations, and I was just talking to Adam Steer, who's one of the judges, about how fun last year was, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all the presentations and learning some more about the work that's happening here at CDU, and also from our fellow Territorians. So thank you very much, CDU, for having me here. Couple of housekeeping, a little bit of a competition overview as we kick into things. If anyone needs to use the toilet out the doors, it's university, you don't have to put your hand up to leave. I try to remember what it was like when I was at uni. It's a small enough lecture theatre that none of you will fall asleep, because I will see. Someone's like, that's a challenge, we'll give that one a go. I doubt anyone will have a chance to fall asleep, but 3 minutes, these thesis presentations are going to be quite intense and quite a lot of fun. One of my first housekeeping rules is we're going to cheer the people when they come up here to do their presentation and at the end of their presentation, because, like I said, condensing your life work into a short amount of time deserves some acknowledgement and some round of applause from the crowd. So let's just, for the sake of everyone's well-being that is presenting today, let's hear what that sounds like as somebody's about to present. What does it sound like from you guys? We're good. We're ready to do this. I feel like I work at a lecturer. This is for those of you that I haven't met, I'm a stand-up comedian, so this is hilarious for me. This amount of authority and power, I'm enjoying it. And a PowerPoint. This is great. We've had our official welcome, everybody. Competition overview, all right? Show of hands, who has seen one of these before? Great, this is their first 3-minute thesis competition? Great, so it's about 50-50 split. Including one of my judges, first time, welcome, hello. So what happens, it's a research communication competition that was developed by the University of Queensland. And basically, our PhD students are sharing their thesis in 3 minutes. Now the purpose of this, and I guess the value of this, is being able to communicate complex research in an interesting, short time frame, right? Because we're slowly losing our attention spans, aren't we, Darwin? Slowly. It's an elevator pitch, if you will. Imagine you've gotten into an elevator, it's gotten stuck for 3 minutes, and you've got a chance to pitch a thesis, right? Because that's what you do. I know that's what I do if I got stuck in an elevator with somebody, I'd pitch my next show to them. The main idea, I guess, is to try and generate enthusiasm from the audience about your research, to communicate it in a way that everyday people may understand, as a really valuable tool for anyone sharing their research, gaining support and marketing what they're doing, right? So it's not just for our own enjoyment of seeing them do this in 3 minutes. It's for the benefit of them as research professionals, and people that will be able to continue on this work and talk to people about it. So a bit of a competition history, because what is a slideshow without a timeline, right? It started in 2008. It's grown significantly in the years that it's been held, so much now that it is, it's a global competition, starting in Queensland, gone global. People compete in this in Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia and North Asia, going on to things like the Asia Pacific 3-minute thesis final. Again, another one of those wonderful university titles with lots of words in it. But I think it's really exciting to see how much this has grown. And even this year, there's more competitors than last year, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it grows at CDU. International competitions, that's where it's held, all over the place. There's a lot of things going on there. It looks quite intense, doesn't it? There's a lot of threes. But it's just showing we're part of a global audience and a lot going on. I'd like to, just before we get into the rules of our competition, introduce the judging panel, who have the unenvious role of choosing first and second place today. The first of our judges is the Honourable Paul Henderson AO, who's a Chancellor here at Charles Darwin University. And Paul, this is your first time with 3-minute thesis.
First time, yeah, so I'm really excited about it.
Is there anything that you're particularly looking for in the presentation?
No, I just think it's going to unfold around there and I'll form a view. I was just saying to Adam, it's a bit like as a former politician, you go out to do a press conference, you speak for about 3 minutes to set the scene, and then get hammered by the questions. So I'll look at it a bit like that.
That works. And look, in doing that, you've done your bio for me, the history of politics. Past Chief Minister for the Northern Territory and now part of our CDU. So pleased to have you. Give a round of applause for your second judge is Adam Steer. He was a judge last year, so this is not your first rodeo, my friend. You've done this one before.
Hang on in.
Anything in particular you're looking for in a 3-minute presentation on a thesis?
I know last year was fantastic for those people that got to come to it as a judge. One of the difficulties was separating what were the most engaging subject matters and what's the most engaging presentation for the day. That was a difficult choice to do, but I came out of last year thinking everybody should go to one of these because it's enlightening, engaging, and good fun.
Absolutely. Some of those of you that haven't heard Adam's voice before, one of our ABC Darwin presenters. Also, yeah, ABC. That was a nice response, wasn't it? It's like a popular response. I like it. You've also, on your bio, you've toured internationally as an actor. You've taught zoology at Melbourne Zoo and worked at a bronze foundry.
All of those things are true.
Diversity is important. That's great. And then that leads you to working at ABC. And also, you're quite addicted to lycra and light cycling.
Yeah.
This is more of an overshare than a bio.
It's a long time.
This is great. Give a round of applause to second judge at Adam Steer. And your third judge is Alison Stobo-Wilson, who was last year's runner-up in this competition. Alison, any tips for people doing their 3-minute? I mean, it's a bit late now. We had this conversation weeks ago, but what tips have you got for people?
You've got this. Just trust that when you get up there, the adrenaline's going to kick in and your brain's going to do what it should do. You'll be fine.
Perfect. And so your presentation was on gliders last year. Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
Any updates on the research that people should know about?
Oh gosh, I feel like it's done. I'm finished.
It's done. Alison, so I should have said doctor.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
going to do it again. Your third judge, everybody, is Dr. Alison. You guys are all a great crowd as well. This is going to be so much fun. I hope that anyone who's doing their 3-minute thesis is feeling the warmth in here. There is a lot of people here to support you. It's going to be great. So the rules, the not so fun part of what we're doing today. All the presenters only have a single static PowerPoint slide. So none of these fade-ins, no animations. It's a single static slide, no movement. There's no electronic media like sound or video files. There's no additional props. There's no rapping. It says that in there as a rule, which is very prescriptive, I feel, but also part of what we're doing here. It's a pitch, not a rap. So keeping these things in mind, each of your presenters is going to speak for 3 minutes on their topic without, I guess, anything to help them other than their own passion and drive of their thesis, which for me I think is the most valuable thing each of our competitors, research geniuses, wonderful Territorians have, right? The presentation is considered to have commenced when a presenter starts their presentation through movement or speech. We've got that judge. Just so you know, behind you is the timer. There's no cards this year. Everyone's turned and looked at the screen. Yes, there's a terrifying screen at the back of the room counting down. My tip for that, as a comic who's done things where you have a timer to tell you when you're done, don't look at it until you know you've practiced. Don't look at that at all. Look at the people here. They're a lot more attractive than a shiny screen. Great. Judging. Things you should know about how things are judged. It's based on 2 main criteria. The first is about comprehension and content. So did the presentation provide an understanding of the background and significance to the research without too much terminology or jargon? So in layman's terms, did Amy understand it? Is what we're asking. So think about that as an everyday person without any jargon. Did the everyday person understand? Did the presentation clearly describe the impact or results of the research, particularly any conclusions or outcomes? Did the presentation follow a clear and logical sequence? Was the thesis topic, research significance, results, impact and outcomes communicated in language appropriate to a non-specialist audience? That was a long sentence, right? I think that kind of a sentence is probably a sign that it's not, like maybe don't use these sentence structures as an example. Don't feed that back to the 3-minute thesis people. We love this, it's great. But you know, was it articulated in a way that made sense? And did the presenter spend adequate time on each element of their presentation? That's what we're talking about when it comes to comprehension and content. Second criteria is engagement and communication. So, did the presentation make you want to learn more? And I think that for me is one of my favourite things here. If you leave going, I want to know more about that presentation, that means the presenter did a good job. So keep that in mind, everybody, because one of the things we're doing today is also a people's choice vote. So if there's something here that made you go, I want to know more about that, I want to involve myself in that, that's a good sign that that should be one of the things you look for in your people's choice. So did that happen? Did the presenter convey enthusiasm for their research, or did they look tired because they've been working on it? Maybe a few coffees before you get up is a good option. Did they capture and maintain the audience's attention in 3 minutes? Yes, they did. You've all got a 3-minute attention span, darling. I know you can do this. Somebody didn't believe in themselves. We do. Did the speaker have sufficient stage presence, eye contact and vocal range? And did the PowerPoint slide enhance the presentation? The one slide, did it help in any way? So that's what we're judging on. And this is what they win. So the CDU winner gets a $1,500 research travel grant and travel expenses to attend the Asia Pacific semi-final in Brisbane. The runner-up gets a $1,000 research travel grant and the People's Choice $500 research travel grant. So people voting in the People's Choice, it matters who you vote for. $500 for a travel grant is really, really useful for some of these researchers, so use your vote wisely. So like I said, the CDU winner is going to go into the Asia Pacific final in Brisbane, where they could win a 5K research travel grant, which would be great. And I think we'd all get behind whoever wins today to go on and make us all territory proud over there in the bigger competition. Oh, everyone excited now? You know what they're playing for? I feel like a game show host on Oprah. Live my dream. So how winners are chosen, judges will decide the winner and the runner-up. You fine people will decide the People's Choice. Using technology, you vote on a website, we'll give you that information after the presentation so you don't get excited and spend your whole time on there beforehand. Okay? So I probably should say as housekeeping, phones on silent and in your pockets or in your bags. There, look at that, I did a thing. We'll give you presentations about the information on that afterwards for the People's Choice. Like I said, there's 3 minutes to do the presentation. The timer at the back will say stop, and there'll be a bell at the end to indicate the end of your time. If you do notice that people are staring up that way, and they're not making eye contact with you, don't take it personally. They do care about each and every single person here, but that is important for the timing. All right. That's the housekeeping, that's the rules, that's the prizes, that's the judges. I'm being a lecturer. Any questions? Don't usually get to do that. Usually in comedy you don't want people asking questions or talking to you. Alright, is everybody ready for their first 3-minute thesis presentation?
Yeah.